Hi everyone, my name is Ace Says Hi, and today we will be going over the new blog post from Overwatch called Weekly Recall Meet Your Matchmaker. And from what I understand about it, it's basically going over how matchmaking works in Overwatch, both in comp and stadium. And I'm actually pretty curious about that because, you know, some of the matchmaking in this game could be a bit interesting, especially when it comes to Stadium. So, all right. So before we get started here, um, basically, I'm just going to give a TLDR of what they say in this post. But if you want to read it yourself, the link will be down in the description below. So, anyways, starting off here, they're explaining their goals with matchmaking, which is they're trying to balance between an actual fair and balanced match and also time, queue times, which is fair. It's valid. It's valid. I don't want to be sitting in the queue for like half an hour to an hour. I get that. And obviously they prioritize saying that like 50% is the ideal, like you have a 50-50 chance of winning or whatever, but that's just not realistic for every match. All right, so going down here, matchmaking 101. Before they actually get into everything, they explain the internal MMR versus like what you see. So obviously, we see like Diamond 3 or M5 or Silver 2, whatever. But on the internal MMR, they have like a bell curve where the center is 0, 0. And then as you go up or down from that point, it like drops dramatically and that stuff. And you can see that here with the new distribution by skill tier chart that we see. So they have flat here being the most like populated rank, I guess. The rank with the like biggest number of players is plat, followed by gold, then diamond, then silver, then master, then bronze, then GM, and with less than 0.1% of the population being champion. Um, so moving on, um, they kind of just explain how it works down here. If someone is rated a 2, which is, say, like around M5, they'll try to place someone that is around a 2, but sometimes the skill range will be between like 1.9 and 2.1 internally, which would probably be around like D1 to M4, which makes sense. That's like fair. Um, and they get into how that works more for like in comp down here. So mathematically, their like matchmaker tries to find 10 players around the same skill level to create the ideal match, which isn't always possible. Which is where the introduction of a role delta comes in. So you have the different roles in the game, and they try to match people in those individual roles on both sides being the same MMR. So as it says here, if one team's tank has a 1.5 MMR rating, the other tank will have a 1.5 MMR rating. Basically, they try to match the roles being the same rank versus the lobby average being the same rank, if that makes sense. Because they found out from their testing and their previous models and everything that it's better for the ranks of the roles to be similar versus saying like you have a GM5 tank player versus a diamond or like a low masters tank player who has like GM DPS players on their team. It's better to have the roles match versus like the overall lobby average match is basically what they're getting into here. Um, and that's what they explain here. We weighed these options against team level fairness as well as player level fairness, and the different probabilities and that stuff. The role deltas thing is always super interesting to me, and I'm very happy that they actually go into more detail here than what they've done previously. And also, I also like seeing the actual bell curve, like the internal like MMR and how that kind of works too. Um, so getting past like that section, we come down to here where this is probably one of the most interesting parts of the article for me is we get percentage numbers on how likely we are to win a game or not. So at the absolute lowest win rate probability, a team would encounter is 40%. So the lowest chance you have to win a game, according to their matchmaking, is 40%. And If you lose that game, you get consolation. You have like the different modifiers and that stuff. You have like consolation expected, uphill battle reversal, right? So, um, if you have a 40% chance to win a game, you're going to get the consolation modifier and not lose as much. But that's an outlier. Most matches, 80% of competitive role queue, have a win rate probability within the 45 to 55% chance range. So on average, you have a 45 to 55% chance of winning your game. Allegedly. You know, if you have me on your team, that chance of winning goes down to like 10%. So, yeah. Um, Going down to here, creating lobbies with a narrow skill range is important because inconsistencies show up at the team level, blah, 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 blah. Basically talking about the different like skill levels of the players and why they try to avoid like wide ranges as best as they can. I understand it's hard, especially for higher ranked players at like different times of the day and everything, but I understand like it makes sense as to why they would try to avoid a wide range match as much as possible because obviously the narrower the range, the fairer it's going to be. So yeah, um, and it goes into that here, saying like player level fairness is a much more difficult thing to achieve, and it's one of the leading reasons why queue times could be unpredictable. Because if you are playing at a time where there's like a low player population online, say like during off peak hours, like you're playing at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, or something like that, or if you are playing in a very high like skill level, like high masters, GM, etc. Or also, as it says here, if you're just in a region that doesn't have that many like Overwatch players. So yeah, um, and in the past, they tried to like experiment with like extending the MMR range, but the matches tend to be less fun as a result. So, and basically saying that they're always analyzing ways to try and have a better balance between queue time and match quality. So, yeah. I think right now, the matchmaking system personally for normal comp is pretty good for the most part. Like, yeah, you could always complain. Like, you're always going to get like that one match where you're just like, really? Like, what is this? But I would say, like, on average, during the day and everything, like during normal playtime hours, I'd say the match range is pretty good. And then, so now we get down to Stadium. And basically, Stadium is them talking about how it's a new game mode, so it's a little bit harder for them to queue. They don't outright say that, but it's a new game mode, so it's harder for them to like match everything because unlike comp, Stadium isn't directly tied to MMR. Like your Stadium rank isn't directly tied to your comp MMR. Instead, it serves as what they call a goal post toward which you can climb. Um, it also talks about how the ranks reset every season. Um, Everyone resets down to rookie, which is similar to how Apex works, where at the end of each season, everyone gets reset down to the lowest level, and then you have to climb back up. And they also explain that that's why you get more points winning a game of Stadium than you do for losing, especially like in the lower tiers, for example. So they explain why that works. They explain how that works a little bit. And it makes some sense. There's like pros and cons to that kind of rank system. I think for what Stadium is, I think it makes sense though for them to do it that way versus like normal comp. I think normal comp, if they were to do like a full rank reset, everyone could get down to bronze every season, that would be insane. That would just not work. But yeah, I think for Stadium it makes sense, especially because it's kind of like a completely different game mode because you can have or like different game. Obviously, it's a different game mode, but like you can have like a GM or Masters player that is like really good in like comp or whatever, just suck in Stadium because they don't know how to build correctly, and then vice versa. You could have like a silver player that knows how to do like an absolutely insane build and somehow just roll the lobby. It really just depends. So yeah. And then they go on to say that they're still getting like stadium calibration and everything, and why. And they also explain why the stadium skill tiers don't always match up. Why sometimes in your like high ranked stadium games, like when you're like all star or elite or whatever, why you would still have like a rookie in your game or on your team. They explain that because especially with the rank resets and everything. If someone was like elite last season, they could still hit elite this time. So yeah. um. So then, to close it all out, they basically say that they're looking into queue times and how they can try and reduce them, specifically when it comes to support, because supports have a really long queue time in Stadium. Queue like Frogger sitting in queue for like 45 minutes playing Mario Kart, you know? Um, but yeah, they say they're actively thinking of ways to improve the situation here, and I'm assuming it'll just get better as time goes on with trying to find the balance with matchmaking and everything. But yeah, overall, pretty good blog post from them. So I like it. Good job, Overwatch. Anyways, yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I really like these blog posts. I like that the Overwatch team tries to like keep the community updated and in the loop and everything, and also like explains how um like things work. Um, you can see here on the right hand side that they're doing like articles way more frequently now than they used to be doing them. Um, so it makes me happy seeing like seeing the team, the Overwatch team, actually like talk to the community and everything. Anyways, that's about it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.